Alright guys, this is the unpackaged version of the Rolls Royce. Rolls Royce and Jaguar are pretty similar when it comes to the assembly. You know, you're going to have all your basic parts and pieces, the screwdriver not included. But you got a couple screws there for the seat. You have the washers, you have a few cotter pins, emblem, you have the wheels, you have the wheel caps, just some basic accessories like, you know, side mirrors, a little light, the charger, the MP3 cord. You're going to have the instruction manual. The antenna will have to be screwed on to the remote here. You're going to have the seat down here, the windshield, the 4 tires. The frame is coming just like this, all one piece. What we already did here is we went ahead and we put this gray piece on already. This comes with one piece. And what you want to do is, it's going to have this wire that's connected to it. You're going to want to run this wire through this hole in the back here first. And you're going to place this piece down. It's going to have little clips, and you want to push down. Make sure you put it in the center first and kind of push down on the edges here until you hear it snap into place. It looks like it's clipped in, but you want to make sure you hear it, you know, snapped in there. Okay, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take this wire and you're going to make sure you have it plugged in. There you go. Got some helping hands there. Doesn't matter which one of these you plug it into. You want to make sure it's just plugged into one of these guys right here. Okay? And then you're going to have one of these red wires here will be loose from this little box. This is what connects all the power to make everything turn on. You want to make sure that you put the female connector onto the male connector. Once you do that, you'll now, well, hold on. There we go. You'll now have power. Okay? Now what we recommend when it comes to the power, make sure that you leave this on charge for 5 to 8 hours. Even though it has power to start off, it's just like a cell phone. If you don't plug it up, you know, first, you have the potential of ruining the battery. So make sure, you know, you have it charged for 5 to 8 hours, because we don't know how hard it is to get a hold of batteries like this. So that's what it's basically looking like, and now we're going to kind of walk you through the process of putting it together. Okay, so next step here, you got a wheel. Okay, so he's going to take right now and put the wheel cap or the rim onto the wheel. They just snap into place. Okay, very basic. Then you're going to take one of the little rubber spacers and you're going to place it inside the back of the wheel here. Okay. Then you take one of the washers. You want to slide the washer right onto the axle here. And you're going to slide the wheel on. Okay. Then you're going to grab the cotter pin, slide the wheel on, then you're going to put the cotter pin right in through the hole. Take the screwdriver, bend out the cotter pin. I mean, you can use anything you want here, pliers or whatnot. We just use the screwdriver because it's really the only tool that you're going to need to tighten anything down. So, okay. And what he's going to do is he's going to grab another rim. You see it's got the little holes for the clips. Okay. And he's going to repeat the same process on this side. Alright. Want to make sure that you get this tire, put a washer on. Okay. Put that spacer on the back of the rim. Put another washer on. Cotter pin in. And then tighten. Then you want to go ahead and throw the center cap pieces on there. You'll see they have two little clips on them as well, and there's two little holes on the inside of the rim where they'll just snap right into. Very basic. Simple enough. Now it's important when you put these on that you have that spacer in there, and you make sure you have a washer on that axle, and then you also have a washer after you put the wheel on there. It's important that you have it set up that way. And you have to have that cotter pin in there, because if you don't have the cotter pin in there, the wheel will fall off. Okay? So you want to make sure that the cotter pin is in there, and you spread it. That way it doesn't come out anytime soon, because you don't want your kids driving around with the tires falling off. So we're going to go ahead and finish putting these tires on real quick. See, he's putting another washer on the outside there. See, now he's got the cotter pin holding it in. Now he's going to go ahead and make sure it's spread. Important that we do that there. And then that's just basic mechanics right there. Perfect. Okay, and then he's just going to put the center cap on. You see it's got the little clips. Alright, make sure it's in there nice and firm. Now we got one more tire to go, and we'll have all the tires placed on here. Now, one thing we'd like to point out prior to making it past this assembly of putting the windshield on is one thing you should check is behind this dashboard. Because there's some instances where I don't know if it's due to packaging or just it's something the manufacturer did as a precaution, but you have a high and a low speed on the vehicle, and sometimes the vehicle either will stay in high speed, won't go to low speed, or vice versa, or sometimes it just has trouble moving, or and it seems like the car is not functioning properly, and it's due to a wire that's in the back of the high-low speed switch. So what you want to do before you get too far into putting this together is you want to loosen these two screws right here on top. Okay? You want to take those out. Then on each side of the dash here, you have the screw hole right here and a screw hole right here. Okay? And you want to take those 4 screws out and loosen up the dash. It's got a couple clips there, or 4 clips that are down there at the bottom. And right behind here, you want to see this high-low switch right here. Okay, you want to double check and make sure everything is plugged in there tight the way that it's supposed to be. Because what we've found is a majority of the time we've had a couple of cars come back and people say, hey, they either don't go in low speed, or they say, hey, my car isn't functioning properly. And what it is, it's this set of wires right here. One of the wires isn't pressed in all the way. So what you want to do is make sure the wires are pushed in nice and tight. Okay, because what we found is one or more of the wires will be a little bit loose, and you want to make sure it's nice and snug, pushed up in there, and check all the other ones while you're back here so you don't have to loosen it again. But typically that's what we found. It's behind that high or low speed that one of the wires is loose. So that'll stop you from any headaches of putting this thing all the way together, finding out there's a problem. Just kind of double check that before you get too far into the car. Okay? So you want to slide those bottom part of those clips back in there. Retighten the dash. Okay, and then you got these couple of screws right here on top. And then you got this last screw over here. Right, and we're back in business. So it's not like you have to do that. We just recommend that you go ahead and take a peek underneath there. Make sure everything is in there nice and snug, because we have found a couple of cars that weren't going into low speed or might have had issues just driving back and forth because of one of those wires, but it's fixed every one that we found. So just make sure you tighten up all those wires and give it a double check, okay? Alright, so you want to double check inside here as well. Make sure that you don't have any wires that are hanging loose. Now I will tell you that you have an antenna wire that's located in here, okay? And on the antenna wire, where are you at there? It's the yellow wire that you have in here. Sometimes on some of these cars, we found the antenna wire will have an end to it. You'll have one end that's plugged into one of these boxes. Then you'll have another end that ends up having just like a circular connector on it. If it's not connected to anything, it's okay. Some of them are connected to another part of the box, some of them aren't, but it's okay. The car will still function. It doesn't affect anything, so if you see it and you think it's supposed to connect to something, it's okay. We've had a couple that it just doesn't connect to anything, but it's just used as an antenna, so it's not a big issue, okay? But just double check, make sure everything is plugged up in here. You don't have anything that's just unplugged unless it's that antenna wire, okay? So now we come back over here to everything else that we got, and now we're going to put on the steering wheel. Steering wheel is pretty basic. You connect the wire here on the steering wheel. Slide the wire back down in there. We'll loosen up that screw just a little bit here. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this screw completely out here. Okay, because what's going to happen is we're going to slide